When Plato first wrote about Atlantis more than 2,300 years ago, he described a powerful and advanced civilization that vanished beneath the waves in a single day and night. For centuries, people have wondered, was Atlantis a real place or just a philosophical parable? Did it sink into the sea or never exist at all? Today, we dive deep into the legend of Atlantis, exploring the clues, the theories, and the real-world locations that may have inspired one of history's greatest mysteries. Atlantis first appears in the works of Plato, specifically in his dialogues Timaeus and Critias, written around 360 BCE. According to Plato, Atlantis was a vast island beyond the Pillars of Heracles, what we now call the Strait of Gibraltar. He claimed the island was larger than Libya and Asia combined, home to an advanced society with incredible architecture, canals, palaces, and powerful armies. Plato says the Atlanteans became morally corrupt and tried to conquer the known world. In response, the virtuous Athenians stood against them, and then the gods punished Atlantis by submerging it beneath the ocean. Sounds like a cautionary tale, right? That's what most historians believe, that Plato invented Atlantis as a philosophical allegory, a metaphor for the dangers of pride, imperialism, and losing touch with moral virtue. But not everyone agrees. Over the centuries, explorers, mystics, and even scientists have tried to find Atlantis, believing Plato's story might be rooted in real events. Let's look at the leading theories. First, the Minoan civilization Santorini theory. Perhaps the most respected academic theory links Atlantis to the ancient Minoan civilization on the island of Crete and the nearby island of Thera, today known as Santorini. The Minoans were advanced, peaceful, and highly artistic. They had plumbing, trade networks, and massive palaces, all around 1600 BCE, long before most civilizations had these capabilities. But then disaster struck. A massive volcanic eruption on Thera, one of the largest in recorded history, triggered tsunamis, ash clouds, and possibly the collapse of Minoan society. Some scholars believe this sudden natural cataclysm may have inspired the Atlantis myth, especially given the Minoans' island setting and advanced culture. Second, the Richat structure, also known as the Eye of the Sahara. Located deep in the Mauritanian desert is a strange circular landform called the Richat structure. It looks uncannily similar to Plato's description of Atlantis' concentric rings of land and water. Some researchers have speculated that this could be the real location of Atlantis, not submerged, but buried by time and sand. Supporters argue that Plato's island might not have been an island in the ocean, but rather a metaphor for isolation. And with shifting coastlines and ancient climate change, what is now desert could once have been fertile. But critics say there's no archaeological evidence of a lost civilization there, just natural geology. Third, the Antarctica theory. Some fringe theories suggest that Atlantis was actually Antarctica, long before it was covered in ice. According to this idea, a sudden shift in Earth's crust, known as crustal displacement, moved Atlantis to the South Pole, where it froze. While intriguing, there's little scientific evidence for such rapid continental movement, and there's no sign that humans lived on Antarctica in ancient times. Fourth, Atlantis is the Americas. Some 19th century thinkers proposed that Atlantis was actually the Americas, unknown to Europe in Plato's time. They point to the size, resources, and isolation of the continents as matching Plato's descriptions. But this theory runs into the problem of timeline. Plato's Atlantis was supposedly destroyed around 9,000 years before his time. That's 11,000 years ago to us. The Americas were populated, sure, but there's no evidence of an advanced civilization fitting Plato's description that far back. So what did Plato actually say? He claimed the story came from Solon, a respected Athenian statesman who heard it from Egyptian priests. They allegedly told him of an ancient war between Athens and Atlantis, a civilization that existed 9,000 years before Plato's time. That means the events would have occurred around 9,600 BCE, just after the end of the last ice age. But many scholars believe this was deliberate fiction, a noble lie used to illustrate moral decay and the consequences of hubris. Even ancient writers like Aristotle doubted Plato's story, reportedly saying, "He who invented it also destroyed it." Still, certain coincidences keep the debate alive. For instance, 9,600 BCE is around the time of the Younger Dryas, a mysterious global cooling event that may have involved sudden floods and ecological shifts. Some believe these floods could have inspired flood myths in cultures worldwide, including Atlantis. Others connect the Atlantis story to the Great Flood found in Mesopotamian and biblical traditions, suggesting a shared ancient memory of some catastrophic event. Could Plato have woven fact and fiction together, turning distant oral legends into philosophical allegory? The search for Atlantis has inspired explorers from Columbus to Cousteau and fueled countless books, films, and TV shows. It taps into something primal, the idea that great civilizations can rise, fall, and vanish, and that beneath the ocean or the desert, secrets still wait to be discovered. So was Atlantis real? Here's what we know. The only ancient source for Atlantis is Plato. There's no archaeological proof of a sunken super-civilization. Several historical events, like the Minoan eruption, might have inspired parts of the myth. And the power of the story lies not in its factual accuracy, but in its timeless message. The rise and fall of Atlantis reminds us that no civilization, no matter how powerful, is immune to disaster, especially when arrogance outpaces wisdom. Could Atlantis still be out there, waiting to be found, or was it always a mirror, showing us what happens when empires reach too far? Let us know what you think in the comments. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for more lost history, ancient mysteries, and deep dives into the past.